fought in the century. The darkest depression, lost in the essence, caused by the tension. I try to walk away, but they blocking the exits. Is this all just a lesson? Probably not. I put this gun in my head, let me call it shots. I'm all alone, pissed, drunk, drinking wobbly pops. Am I looking for attention? Hardly stop. But I don't know till I get some. Bacardi and Coke, that's red rum. Oh, you think I got it made now? Guess what? Look me in my face.
All right, guys, what's going on? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE, joined here, as always, by one Mr. Big Z. What's up, Z?
Fourth Worth?
Yeah, Fourth Worth.
Whatever it's called.
You tell us you live there.
It was fun. Wasn't the most successful outing for the Smith family or Team SAS, but I had a blast. I got to drive there. That was cool.
Yeah, how was the experience of not being on a plane? Did you like that?
I hate flying very, very much, so I did appreciate being able to actually normal travel to the first vault that's been anywhere close to me. Not bitter at all, of course.
Bitter at all.
I was hoping to get more people, though. That was a little bit discouraging. It didn't hit 100. And this is a pretty large population center. It's not like the Northeast or whatever, but I mean, just between the three major cities in Texas, Oklahoma, New Orleans, and Kansas, that's all very manageable to get here. And then, of course, we always have people fly in. We have a ton of Reap Out people fly in from everywhere. Heck, I think Reap Out was 11% of the population of the field. So, not joking.
So there were 10 of them?
Yes. There were 10 of them.
Fair enough.
And I don't even think that's counting the kids. They had some kid Reap Out, just like we have my son as a kid Team SAS. Yeah, I think there were actually 10 adults there that were all on Team Reap Out. I met a new one I had met before, so that was cool to meet new blood.
And before we get into all that, we of course have to say hello to our newest member of the Archons Corner podcasting family, Mr. Grant. What's up, Grant?
Hey, what's up?
Grant's going to help us out with some numbers today. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, hearing those numbers about the Fort Worth Vault Tour attendance, that's pretty rough. I didn't realize it was that low attendance.
Yeah, it wasn't like a highlight or that mentioned anywhere, but I think there's some stats that are posted, and Alex had one of the people responded to there only being 11 people in day 2, and they're like, how is that possible? It's like, well, when the attendance is X, you only have a certain amount of people make day 2, because that's I think the lowest was Collinsville when I think there's just a top 8. But
yeah, Collinsville was 69 people. Then you had PAX of 72, and then the third lowest ever was Fort Worth, 94.
So.
And we'll get into some of the reasoning, I think, for that here in a little bit. But one thing I do want to get out there to you guys, to the masses, really is we do have the 2 tournaments going on right now. You guys can join up for the Adaptive League, first season for the Adaptive League for us, or the second reversal season that are both going on. Well, they're not going on, but signups are going on right now. They will start on the 24th of this month, allowing some people some time to breathe, catch their breath, and get back in to the game here, really. So, really what we wanted to do today, as I blow my co-host Sears out, really what we wanted to do here today is go over all of the fun, I guess, stats that we got from Texas, which really what we got was just a really good-looking house breakdown sheet. But I do think this gives us some sort of information. It does kind of give us a little bit of info. Alex decided to give us all the variations of decks possible, which I think you can kind of crumple that up and just throw it away. Because, I mean, it's sealed, right? This was sealed, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, for that, do you guys think the fact of it being sealed might have hurt attendance a little bit?
Of course, that's why I didn't go.
Well, there's 2 people on my team that would have been there had it not been sealed.
I would have been there. Yeah. Right.
For sure. Well, there's 2 of you, right? I don't think that would have affected anyone else on the team that we have. But I mean, just the fact that there's 10 people on Team SAS, I guess 12, but there's 12 people on Team SAS, and 1/6 of our team would have chosen to not play or play or not, depending on it being sealed or not. I mean, not that we are the perfect representation of a population or anything, but if that's just 2 out of the 12 somewhat randomly chosen people, there are obviously going to be more people out there that would have gone.
Right.
But on the flip side, I do know several people around here locally that wouldn't have gone if it was the other way. So I think no matter what the format is, there's like give and take. And it's impossible to know who we're gaining and who we're losing. It could just be a wash because there's a lot of people that just don't feel they have the decks to go to like an Archon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But either way, I mean, like for the most part to date, the attendance between Archon and Sealed has been fairly regular, no matter which type of event. So it is disappointing either way that it didn't even break 100. I was expecting when they said the venue had a cap of 150. I was honestly telling people this was the first one that I could see that could possibly have hit the actual population cap. And obviously didn't come anywhere close to that. So.
Yeah, because, I mean, for Collinsville, we kind of knew what was up there. It was just, that was a really fast turnaround time. You literally had, 2.5 to 3 weeks, honestly, to get, like, your tickets together and get your butt down to Collinsville, Illinois. So we kind of overall figured that. Collinsville wasn't going to be very
someone in
popular.
one of the posts said something about not having enough time for this one. Like, that was not true. Like, I don't know if anyone replied to that person. There was actually quite a bit of lead time.
There was 6 weeks?
Booked. I want to, like, I don't know the exact date these were posted. I'm sure someone would come back and say we're wrong if I did say a date.
I'm sure.
But I feel like I had a lot of time to book this one and knew well in advance. Like, that could be as early December. Like, I feel like I knew before December. I mean, actually, I could probably look up when I booked the thing because I booked it almost immediately because it's freaking Dallas.
Yeah,
obviously, I was going. I mean, this 4-hour drive is literally nothing in Texas. If you're not from Texas, you drive 4 hours. That's just a normal day for some people.
To dinner. 4 hours,
to dinner. 4 hours.
I mean, I used to commute an hour just to go to work. I mean, like, 4 hours is just a road, like, not even a road trip here. That's like my sister-in-law lives in Dallas. My wife visits like once every other month without a problem.
I mean, I guess we'll find out. I don't know what the next one is after this. Is that California?
Next up is Adepticon.
Next up is Adepticon. We are in the middle of March.
It's late March, unlike last year.
Yeah.
But it's Adepticon is up next.
So, I mean, I guess we'll kind of see if maybe that is just true. It was too soon. Really? I mean, I guess prices of airfare are going to have a major kind of impact.
Well, and then there's also an additional cost with Adepticon. So, I mean, that could
There's
also
an additional cost. Last year, I think we had right around, it was like 150, 170, somewhere in there.
Last year at Adepticon, you had 122.
So not even close. Just to show you how bad we are at numbers. Not even close.
Well, I have a list in front of me of the attendance for all the Vault Tours. And what I'm like looking at is it seems completely random. Like it bounces back and forth between Sealed having, 150, then Archon will have 70, and then it'll invert where Archon will have like 150 people, like at Albany had 142.
Mm-hmm.
And then PAX what was the next one? Fort Worth, drops down to 94. It doesn't seem to be based on
And I want to comment on the Albany thing. Like, that's actually way more people than I was expecting. I actually had that conversation with Eric and Grant, I think literally a week before Albany started. Like, I was expecting, like, Collinsville numbers because you're talking about a vault that's on, like, right after people's vacations, and there's all the Christmas money expenses, like, all the stuff that I, like, people being able to, they just got traveled for all the holidays. They're going to come and travel again. Like, that shocked me that one was over 100. I was expecting a complete inverse of those two numbers he just said between Fort Worth and Albany. So
Albany is a highly populated place, though.
it's still highly yes, it's highly populated, but we don't have any way to do this. But I'm pretty sure if you're able to bring up the numbers of people that were not local, that was going to be the majority.
Grant,
I
get
knew
on it.
a lot of the people there. They're not from the New York area.
Right.
Well, the one thing about Albany is that it was Archon Survival, and we've had 4 Archon Survival events so far.
Yeah.
I think it's 4 or 5. And all of them have had over 120, and all of them have done well. The only ones to really compare to that in size have been the set releases, where you'll get 200, 400. It's an amazing format.
Yeah, with the composition of our team and the decks that we have available, obviously just Archon Solo should be better for us than Sealed, but I get really, really bored of single Archon Solo. I think it is the most boring way to play this game, and it's when you have such an option for dynamic competitive gameplay, why choose the most basic form that exists?
Is it because of Gem? Gem messes everything up.
That's what I always say. Every time anyone wants to do something fun and exciting, our immediate counter answer is Gem. That's the accepted trump card of all things. It's I don't know.
That's the future survival tournaments. They're not going to allow you to choose your remaining decks to play on day 2, because they had to do some special hack for Gem, and that's really sad because that's an amazing option.
The special hack is called people would go in and have to data entry. They don't want to pay those people to do that again.
Yeah, that sucks.
Why does their software suck? Other than Gem being our constant answer, I don't know. Grant, you're a programmer.
Yeah.
What was
What you
the
do
insight for accepting that this software just sucks?
I don't know. Developing software is not easy. I don't know if they use Gem for their other games, but I could see if they used it for X-Wings and whatever else. Adding all of these formats, they've made a mess of the code and made it very difficult to fix. Another thing is that if you actually look at the company FFG, because I actually looked at applying there at one point, they don't seem to pay well, and employees seem to be not terribly happy. That's very typical of the gaming industry, though. I made games for Disney and Nickelodeon, then looked into doing it full time professionally, but it's an industry of passion and poor pay and high stress.
It's almost like podcasting. Weird story how that works.
That's funny.
Because podcasting, YouTube, all this different media stuff, it's all the same thing.
It's a labor of love.
It's a labor of love until you make it, and then when you do, then it's all good, I guess. But
or it just crushes your soul if you don't make it.
We wouldn't know anything about making it.
Right. But if you go, I posted my most recent video over on YouTube, which is the Grays Lake Prime, where I get absolutely smashed because, man, I just don't get the decks, right? You look at some of these other decks that people were gotten. I know a lot of you said you should post all 3 decks. There's reasons I didn't. The main reason being I don't remember what the other 2 decks were, and I didn't scan them in order. So I don't remember what they were. It'll be nice for next time to be I should write these down or something. This is the first time I've ever done the vlogging style, actually a vlogging style video at all. This is the first time I ever did it. So I thought it turned out okay. I think there's areas that I definitely had pointed out to myself that I could improve in. Unfortunately for the one deck challenge, which is coming to a close here, probably this upcoming week, I didn't make those changes right away, but I obviously for the next few times I do it, I know that. But Sealed to me is kind of that. It is that proverbial crapshoot, right? You can either roll aces or you can roll craps, and your level of fun is almost debated on the decks you get. But I've heard the other way around saying, well, a skilled player can take a really bad deck and make it really good.
Yeah, that's a naive interpretation of it. I hate when people say that because there's fundamental components of a deck that you can lack. You're going to have a high stats, that's great, but no board clears, no amber control, you're just going to lose. You can't out-navigate someone if you have 2 amber control.
I can get on board here a little bit. I've played more sealed vaults than anyone, I think. Pretty sure that's got to be accurate at this point.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think a skilled player, assuming I'm skilled, can take an average to slightly above average deck very, very far.
And is that day 2 far, or is that just 4 and 2?
I think they can.
It's 4 and 2 far,
I think
sir.
they can make day 2. I think they can make day 2 with a slightly above average deck. A very average deck doesn't have a very good chance of going more than 4-2, just because of the way the game is played. Like,
so that's the thing.
Yeah.
You need an above average deck, is what you just said.
Yeah, like you need a slightly, like the deck I made top table was slightly above average. The deck that Ben Wallace won Origins with was maybe 10% above average.
Wasn't that adaptive, and that's why he won?
And he had an adaptive final. Like we replay that match today, best of 3, he gets smoked.
He loses. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if he even gets out of the top 4 round if it's best of 3. But so yeah, like I agree and I don't agree. Like, as far as the statement goes, can a really good player take a bad deck and make day 2 in sealed? No. No. Like, even with saying like they could get really lucky here or there, I just don't see it being possible. And I've played a lot of sealed play.
I don't even know if a really skilled player can take a average deck and make day 2.
I made day 2 3 times in sealed, and all of the decks that I made day 2 with were above average.
Well, yeah, and
in one case, not much,
average.
Not much by like anything, but it was definitely above average.
But at the same point, that also depends on what the pool around you is. Because if the pool is slightly below average, and you have a slightly above average deck, I mean, obviously you're going to make it. You should make it much further in ideal.
Yeah, it's more so about who you get matched up in the random lottery game of pairings.
Matchup is huge, and like I said, the deck pool is kind of big too.
Yeah, and I think like what you just said, like it does depend on who you're matched up against. I think Dave in Dallas, I was looking at his deck because he went 3-3, and because he was selling it, it popped up on one of my notifications. I was like,
must be good if it pops on your notification.
Yeah, I know. Like, if for any deck, no deck that I have played in sealed, I posted them all for sale, has ever none of them have ever popped up on a notification that I have. So that does say a lot.
Wow.
I think he put that one on not Keyforge, but buy sell trade on Keyforge
he put it there,
site.
but it also popped up like it had something in the deck that I am specifically looking for. But like his deck looked pretty good. I was like, I would have loved to have that deck, but then I happened to I got to watch who he was matched up against. I know at some point he got paired up against Nathan, who Nathan had, I don't know, TTR Nathan, don't know his last name.
I think it's Stalwart, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, former sealed vault winner.
Yeah.
Nathan. And his deck was absolute bonkers, just like George's was really bonkers. Good. I was expecting that to be top table. George and Nathan's deck, I got to see both of them play. They're really, really good decks. I'm not talking about slightly above average or above average. I mean, like, this is, I don't know if they're like on the vault level, like what I would take, but they are definitely on the level that I would test out for vault. They're on the level that I would take to play at a local Archon, because I don't take the vault decks there. They're really good. And I was like, okay, this is pretty nuts. I think one of them had like double Exhume and double Infernus. I think one of them had double Hysteria, double Infernus. Like, it's just like, okay.
Yeah. I was watching a stream.
Like, so one was 3-3?
Well, no, Dave lost to one of those guys. Nathan went 6-0 day one.
Nathan went 6-0, and I believe
lost in top 8.
Okay, so
I'm trying to think, and George went 5-1. Yeah,
and
he had
lost in top 4. Yeah, George lost in
top
4 to the winner. And then Nathan lost top 8 to the person I've been training. So good for that guy.
Yeah.
He opened a good deck. Nice job.
Yes,
and navigated it well. I don't want to take away from that achievement.
I mean, for me, sealed levels the playing field a lot. I would rather play in a sealed. Each has its highs and lows, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Archon, you know what you're playing. You're familiar with what you're playing. But then again, you might not have the awesome decks, which, I mean, I got a good AOA and a good. I'm still searching for a good Worlds Collide deck. I just bought another 2+ boxes this week to find something, and guess what? I still have yet to find anything halfway worth thinking about for Vault Warrior.
I thought we had solved this problem. Like, that's one of Keyforge's unique propositions is adaptive.
Yeah,
It
well,
levels the playing field. I want to see more adaptive because it's an amazing thing that Keyforge has.
I mean, any.
Any.
I want to see any
They took it
adaptive
away. Yeah.
anything that is
Please.
Well, the problem is, like, locally, so far, there's only one thing we can run adaptive in, and that's the Prime. You can run a Prime that's adaptive, but it lasts so long, you want it to be accessible to the locals. The Prime that was at my store, originally we were going to run it as adaptive just because that's a cool format. The more I started talking to people, they're like, okay, we'd have to start at 10 a.m., it's going to last, blah, 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 we're going to end at this time. And everyone's like, groaning already. I'm like, okay, I get that. I understand. Yeah. Normally, our 3-round or 4-round thing lasts 3 hours total, whereas 2 rounds of this will last that time. So I changed it back to sealed, and they're all excited about that now, and we're gonna have our Prime, we're gonna have a good time. But like, we need to see adaptives at vaults. Like, that is the most logical place for them to be, and they're not there. So I don't know. But
I think adaptive at vaults really it does need to happen. It's just, I mean, it just needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, we had the,
you know what you're getting into. You know you're going to start early. You're going to end late.
Well, I mean, I was at Vegas. Grant was at Vegas. I think Vegas ran very smoothly, and that was Triad. So you're looking at literally the exact same time investment. It is structured time-wise the same way. Tiebreakers are the same. All of that.
And how much time do you get per round?
90.
90 minutes. Okay.
I think it's 90 minutes. Yeah. But I mean, at bare minimum, I think Vault Warrior is going to have to be adaptive. I don't think there's going to be much of a choice in the matter on that.
Well, the first announcement we ever got about Vault Warrior, and the only one back in September,
you looked it
did
up?
say, this one I know by heart.
Oh, okay.
It's very close. Day 3 was adaptive for sure. There's 3 days.
Yeah.
And you could potentially have adaptive formats on day 1 with whatever current set happens to be. But there's also that could also be Triad, that could be Reversal, could be just best of 3. There's a ton of different formats within each of days, but no matter what, day 3 is adaptive, single deck. To finish out the tournament, which is hard cut to top 32.
Yeah, I think, it's not for a lack of spending money am I not finding decks. You know what I mean? It's for a lack of... In fact, there's a shortage of decks in my area because I've been kind of on the search, and I haven't found anything on DOK that's really, like, worth buying.
You've been rating Target?
Yeah, I've been rating the targets, yeah. I rated the targets, then I went to my LGSs. And nothing. Just I found a lot of, like, possible contenders, but probably not. I'm not thinking they're vault worthy, but
I have found, and I think this speaks from almost my entire team as well, it is a bit harder to truly assess what top level Worlds Collide looks like, because what we're seeing have success at the vault level is coming out of everywhere. Like this, the Prime stuff we saw from Albany, yeah, they kind of all had dinosaurs, but like the other thing that the deck is doing is generally pretty different across the decks. So
dinosaurs have been a huge, I don't know what to call that, like mainstay in what top level decks are.
They're just hard to deal with.
Let's get into some of the stats here. coming out of the Fort Worth. That's tough to say. Fort Worth Vault Tour. Out of all the decks, I'm trying to find the one that had the percentages because I had added the two together, but I'm looking at a different chart now. But I believe something like Saurian and Logos dominated 40 some odd percent of decks of day one. Day one.
Oh, day one?
Yeah, day one decks. Let me see if I can't find that.
Day one, I'm looking at it. It looks like it'd be a little less than that.
Come on, Alex. Because I just went back into the doc. I'm like, dang it, he changed it. He had percentages in here, and now he's just got numbers.
Yeah,
what did he do?
Them all up.
And I think I actually posted. Yeah, here we go. I got the one from the numbers. So, 18.2% of decks were Saurian, and this is day two. I'm sorry. Day one, 20.2% had Saurians, 18.8% had Logos. So Saurians and Logos dominating 39%?
Yeah.
39. Yeah, exactly 39% of the market, which that's a lot of real estate to be taken up by two houses. Shadows, I don't know how Shadows is doing it still at 14.2%. Like, I guess the right Shadows house can be still really, really good. Hit and run Ronnie's.
It's still super rare. I think a lot of the Shadows picks, they just happen to be in the deck with the dinosaurs, or they happen to be in the deck with the Star Alliance. And then occasionally you'll see decks that have too much to protect. There's a 15% chance that a Shadows deck has too much to protect.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll grab that if they see it, because that's a big
beautiful
swing.
For sealed.
Yeah, I mean, they don't see it. Like, they don't know if it's there. They don't know what's coming unless it's day two and they've scouted you. But it's a swingy enough single card to exist in a deck to help you make day two, because it can win you a game.
And the one that surprises me the most is Star Alliance sitting down there, kind of towards the bottom at only 12.8%.
That is a lot lower than what I would have expected going in, for sure.
Let's see. Then, not a huge surprise, because I think we've all kind of figured out that the Untamed is sitting actually right at number 4 with 13.5%. And then Dis, like I said, I don't think anybody's surprised. Dis sitting, what is that? 4, 5, number 6 at 12.1. So a lot of good stuff in Dis, just nothing that's going to win you the game.
Maybe a Lord of Vidius, but yeah, nothing.
I mean, but you're not, unless that's paired with a couple Rock Grubs and a couple Infernuses and maybe a Hysteria or an Exhume.
I mean, even in Archon, turn 1 Lord of Vidius can win you a game. In Sealed, it can definitely win you a game. So that's about the only card I could think. Maybe Obsidian Forge if the deck actually supports it, but Lord of Vidius is probably the only single card.
If it's got dinosaurs, it supports. Oh no, that's not the one I'm thinking of. Never mind. I'm thinking of something completely different. Don't listen to me. And then rounding out the bottom, house number 7, the house that we will be saying goodbye to in Mass Mutation, Brobnar, 8.5%.
I actually did run a Brobnar deck because I kind of had to based on the choices that I had, and the 4 games that I won were the games I called Brobnar the least because I didn't have to. There's one game I literally called Brobnar. I was not on the play, so I went second. I played a bunch of Brobnar cards that are in my hand, and I never called Brobnar again. In that game, I won 3 keys to none.
Grant, what are your thoughts? I mean, dinosaurs, Logos, crushing it. Logos has obviously been a powerhouse since day one.
Yeah. Well, the numbers, I think dinosaurs and Logos are underrepresented in Sealed, probably just because the decks, didn't exist, the good ones. Because I think it's better to look at the Albany Vault Tour. For Worlds Collide, you had 74% Logos, 61% Saurian. And that's really similar to the Coda domination of Shadows and Dis, which Shadows had 75 and Dis had 64. So, that's how it plays.
Well,
You
the
always
biggest
play
thing
Shadows,
I was
always play
thinking,
Saurian.
right? The biggest thing I was thinking,
Always.
right? The last time we saw numbers like this, we had a little card that kind of got kicked to the curb and, was told, you're the redheaded stepchild and you're not allowed to play games anymore. That was too much, not too much to protect. That was bait and switch. Can we possibly
but he's talking about the code of numbers he just gave you was actually post nerf. He's talking about
post nerf?
That's right now.
Yeah, it would probably be higher.
Yeah,
pre nerf.
I thought that was pre nerf.
No, that was
at the
that
Albany
was at
Vault
Albany.
Oh,
for the Coda
75% of Coda had shadows, which is similar. 74% of
Coda Shadows is still good though. I mean, you still got TMP. The most steel you're going to find is in Coda Shadows. Like, I don't think they've printed the same amount of steel throughout any set. I mean, I know we only had 3.
It's not even close.
Yeah, it's not even close, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't pulled the numbers, so sorry guys, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that there is more steel in Coda Shadows than either of the other sets.
Where it's printed, it's the reason it's not close. It's in the original Shadows, just the commons being in there that all say steel, it is drastically swayed in their favor. I mean, Ronnie is still there, so that's great. But there's just so many commons.
I mean, what do you really have after that in Worlds Collide Shadows? You got Ronnie.
Breaker Hill doesn't count. It's garbage.
Breaker Hill is trash. I mean, he normally doesn't live. Well, I'm trying to think of. It's not no safety in numbers. I just played that card, but Trust No One, which basically is a steel 1.
That's basically all it does. Mm-hmm. I've never stolen more than 1 with that card.
I just keep hearing people complain about 1 card and 1, and I see it over and over again.
What card?
And I'm drawing a blank on it. A Tribute.
Tribute, yeah. Tribute is the probably single most powerful card in Saurian as far as what it does and swingy as it is. If you have the right Saurian set, it is in most cases more swingy than Bait and Switch was. Again, though, it does take the right setup.
Sure.
Bait and Switch didn't necessarily ever need the right setup. It was called Forge Key, play the card. So I don't know. I do not think Tribute is as strong as Bait and Switch used to be, because the number one reason it's not as strong is because Bait and Switch used to not just nerf like it nerfed your opponent to the point where like they were paranoid, they made bad plays. If they didn't know what to do in a Bait and Switch deck, they just kind of sucked sometimes. And that was the real power of Bait and Switch, because as much as Too Much to Protect does, it does not hinder your opponent nearly as much as what Bait and Switch did as far as their actual play pace of the game.
With Tribute, though?
There's not, I mean, like, I have not seen, well, there might be instances where they, actually, no, like, you can't change, like, you're not going to change what you're doing. You're not going to change the rate of what amber you gain. You're going to control, I mean, you should be intelligent about the stuff that you're leaving on the board and the stuff you're killing. Like, for example, if someone plays Imperial Scutum on a guy, and then you need to not ignore it being there. You need to kill it as soon as possible before they actually land the tribute, which I've seen people do all the time.
Well, more times than not, though. I mean, it's Tribute 6 Semper.
See, that's less. I don't see that much. That's one of my alerts.
Do you even play on TCO, bro?
The top decks definitely have that. But the thing about Tribute is that, it's good on its own, but it synergizes with a ton of cards. That's the one thing about it. So many good ways to utilize.
I mean, I swear
is probably one of the best.
I swear I get Tribute 6 Semper at least once a day on TCO, if not more.
That combo just wrecks people.
Well, and I often wonder, because a lot of the times obviously I play on TCO. That's my main way of playing. I only have one Chainbound a week. And I often wonder, I'm like, who's got all these decks? Because some of these decks are just downright gross. But you go to a Vault Tour, it's like, where are these decks? Where are these decks that I'm playing on TCO?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, you can say, like, yes, Tribute 6 Imp is a really good combination. I have played against it in TCO. But I don't know if I've ever actually played against someone that had those two cards in real life.
But we did see it at the Albany Vault Tour, and the deck that got second place had triple Tribute.
Yeah.
And Senator Brackus.
That's
and double Tribute.
Did it have the calligraphy? I don't know if I'm saying that right. The calligraphy idea?
No, it did not have that.
I mean,
I just say ideal, but yeah,
all the time I'm TCO. Like, it feels like once, twice, 3 times. It's like if it's got Saurians, it's like, oh, does it have Tribute and Six Semper, or Tribute and the calligraphy, or Tribute and this, and Tribute or that?
Well, but even that, like, we can talk about strategy for a second. Like, the strategy, if you know your opponent has Six Semper, you need to do your best to make sure. I mean, yes, they can land it all in one turn, but the odds of that are fairly low.
I don't think that's as low as you think. If it's Saurian Logos, they're stashing that Tribute.
Logos.
They're stashing that Tribute until they find till they find the other piece. It's not hard in Worlds Collide to stash a card away for later use.
True, but then at that point, you are describing a much higher caliber deck, which there are less and less of those.
Are we, though? I mean, Eddie is a common. He stashes a card away.
Even just a Tribute Scudam is just devastating sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't mind the Tribute Scudam as much as I mind, like, the Tribute Six Semper, or the Tribute, here's my calligraphy
Tribute
idea.
Brackus,
right.
Tribute Pompidus.
And it's just like, what do I even do against that?
Tribute Pompidus is fun.
I still love the card.
Tribute Primus is better.
Yes.
But it's like, I can't play around that. You can't.
I mean, depends what's in your deck. I mean, like, you're going to lose Amber at some point. Like, this is true. And
no, I think we all know, like, we're going to lose Ember at some point in the game. I don't think if you were to tell me that, like, oh, you're going to lose Ember at some point in the game, no one is shocked.
Yeah.
But tell me, how am I getting around
your opponent's deck? Like, your deck should have things, too, that are comparable to what you're describing. Like,
for sure.
Okay. I mean, like, you play the game, you forge keys. I mean, that I do not think Six Semper Tribute is that big of a deal.
Yeah, like, compared to Too Much to Protect. Like, Too Much to Protect stops you.
Maybe I'm just tired of
gaining
seeing
Amber. Just makes you discard cards. You wouldn't stop gaining Amber for Tribute.
I hate OA for the most part because it's garbage, but, like, a good Jinka turn is way more devastating than Six Semper Tribute. And
yeah. 2-card combo.
It's not even really a 2-card combo. You just need to draw Martian Generosity with Amber. You're going to draw the other card you need because you're going to draw everything.
Yeah. So like, one card and Amber, you win.
Yeah. I mean, in some there are decks out there. It is literally I win now. So I think Martian Generosity is a more busted card than Tribute. I think if they have Six Ember, you need to be very intelligent about killing their strongest creatures and making sure you add more protection to your strongest creatures, because they don't get a choice of which one they're actually killing if your guy has the strongest creature, if you have the strongest creature.
This is true.
So there is, like, actually some stuff you can do against the Six Emperor, but what Grant said was, like, I actually it's harder for me to play around, like, the Scudam and Tribute than it is Six Emperor, because at least there are some things, yes, they could technically play the creature that is the strongest creature, Tribute from hand, and Six Emperor all from hand. Sure. Can't do anything about that.
I mean, and with dinosaurs being so powerful, it's not like an odd thing to happen.
Yeah, no, like that can happen, but as far as, like, the pieces normally don't all line up that way perfectly in a lot of games. So you do have something to say about what is potentially the strongest thing on the board. Unless your whole deck is just a bunch of light weights, and in that case,
this is why Narp's the best card in the game.
I mean, I think we are going to start to see less and less decks that don't have any meat on the board as we move forward, unless they're just hella bursts like Galaxy or something, or Fraud. I do think the Worlds Collide dominant board states are going to continually reduce the amount of coda that we see.
That's an interesting statement. I'm interested to see how that pans out. I don't think you're wrong.
Well, here's the logic in it, because like if you think about what coda did so well, it rushed really, really hard, really fast, right?
Right.
Like that's the thing. And if I'm playing Worlds Collide, like the number one mechanism Worlds Collide does in almost every house that it has, even Untamed, is increase the key cost.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to build this big board and make all keys or your opponent's keys or just keys in general cost X more amount, and my opponent's only true mechanism, their only real win condition that they're really good at is racing. If I have to race to 18 and you have to race to 30, I'm going to win that race. Because that's what Worlds Collide's doing to coda.
So what? Okay, I was going to say, what's the difference between that and a Grump Buggy?
Grump Buggy is creature dependent. It goes away. I mean, like, it's yes, a lot of the Worlds Collide stuff is creature dependent, but like Redder is an on play effect. It still hits. Evil Eye hits from hand. Garcia on play effect. It hits. All the mustics immediately increase. The Vine Apple Tree is annoying. Universal Keylock also just annoying in both people. Like these things are there and they're very effective. Eddie on play, like hell, 5 Eddies. That's a thing now.
Yeah, that is a thing. For those of you wondering why I've been, I don't want to say I'm complaining about it, but this is what I'm hearing. This is what my ear is to the ground, and from what I'm seeing from people, Tribute it seems to be a problem. And again, I'm of the ideology of if you can't beat it, join it. Find yourself a Tribute deck and do it back to him.
I think there actually is card that's better than Tribute in the game. Like a City State, in my opinion, is way better than Tribute. Not a common,
no,
but in my opinion, significantly better. I have some decks. If it just had that card, would immediately be vault worthy because they have everything else to support that mechanism. But like, just a Ludo in City State can crush your entire opponent's Amber pool from a really big number.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and again, kind of continuing my story here real quick. The Wookiee is on the job hunt again. So, I've been playing a lot of, as I am hunting for jobs and playing on some TCO. Obviously, that's why I've been getting tributed. That's why I haven't done it as much as I wanted to this week. Tuesday and Wednesday kind of fell from under me. Thursday is not my day. I didn't want to take away that from Big J and Jupiter. So, kind of just was what it was on today. But I'll be streaming some more. Like I said, I'm on the job hunt. I've got no reason to like go to bed like super duper duper early. So I can kind of do some more streaming. And that's what I've been doing. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I don't know. I've seen it a lot too lately. And I'm like, maybe this Tribute, maybe there's something to this Tribute and shenanigans. I don't know. I could be wrong.
When there's a lot of people just playing stuff that they think is good on TCO. So a lot of that could be.
That's always been my question. Right? I'm like, where are these decks when I am at the Vault Tour? I don't seem to see them. Where are they foreign? Which I do come up against a lot of foreign decks, but typically more Chinese, I think is what I'm normally seeing, or Filipino or something. I'm not sure what each character is, but that's typically what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing many other decks.
I always think a lot of that's people shopping when I'm on TCO in random games.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of people they're shopping, or is it they're finding a deck they like and kind of just playing it?
Probably both, but at Vault Tours, like Vault Tour attendance is so low, it's not a good sample size of what people have.
I mean, what are we at? 1.6 million?
A lot of the same people.
1.7 something.
I'm gonna check it right now. I forgot. I know we just hit another like milestone in how many decks are out there.
I think it was 1.7 million registered.
1.7 million. And we're on to 1.71 almost. We're very close. But yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I thought I'd bring it up, see what both of you guys thought about of is Tribute an issue? Is it something
it's a really flashy card, and that's probably why it gets so much attention.
Yeah,
there's so many other great cards, like Zenic, that little leader that gives you +2 draw.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or Val Jericho, or Lord Invidious. These peak cards are crazy.
Well, I think the big thing the Wookie's highlighting is that it's a common, so you see it a lot.
Well, and it's a big Ember swing, and I think the reason people are putting it into bait and switch terms is due to the fact of how big the Ember swing is. I mean, literally, it's a 4 Ember swing. We haven't seen anything like that, really. I mean, yeah, Too Much to Protect can do it. Interdimensional Graft can do it. But that's dependent on, did my opponent just decide to go ham this term and not pay attention? Which more times than not, they're paying attention. So, but really, I mean, that's probably the biggest Ember swing card I think we've seen since bait and switch.
Only in the light is if they have the supporting cards that go with it, though. Like that's it's still.
I mean, at bare minimum, it's a 1-turn stall. At very bare minimum, it's a 1-turn stall.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we've seen plenty of times. 1 turn is all. I was just playing a game on Monday. If I had one more turn, I would have won.
That is Keyforge.
That's Keyforge, right? I mean, but there's plenty of games where I've been like, this guy needs a bunch more turns to even come close to me. I've taken plenty of 3-0 games, and I've won plenty. I've lost plenty of games in 1 turn. And right now, I'm just kind of playing around with some decks that I found that I find interesting, that I want to see if there's anything to them or not. Just kind of curious out there. And I feel like a lot of times, I don't know, like I'm just like, where are all these decks in the Vault Tour? Am I just not seeing them? Is this, what's going on?
I don't know. I mean, I have a deck that has Tribute 6 Emperor. It didn't make my lineup, but I have it.
But let's continue going on to House 2 breakdown. That is, Day 2 breakdown. Logos overtakes Saurians at 18.2. I'm sorry, 21.2. Logos is at 18.2. So now what do we got? We got 39, still at 39%. But Disc coming way up, and along with Untamed, both at 15.2. Who is that? Star Alliance and Shadows both sharing 12.1. And everybody's favorite Brobnar at 6.1. Who played? That's got to be like a deck, right? Let me look at the doc, but that's got to be like a deck.
12 decks or 11 decks on day 2.
11 decks on day 2, so that's got to be a deck.
Percentages are not that meaningful with such a small amount of data.
I mean, not really, but I think it tells us we know the 2 strongest houses in Worlds Collide are Saurians and Logos.
Yeah, I think you see that more so from Archon, but definitely you'll see that here too.
I don't even think the next one's even close. Maybe. I mean, I'm still surprised Star Alliance is just not represented as much.
The biggest surprise to me, which I looked at that data when it popped up, was the amount of Untamed that did make day 2, because Untamed is pretty bad in Worlds Collide. There are some good singular cards, but there's a lot of sets of 12 that just don't do anything for the rest of the deck.
Right. I think Untamed's a lot like Dis in this set. Again, you need the correct 12. Because, is anybody really looking for, what is it, Atrame or Atame, whatever his name is? Is anybody really looking for him?
Sealed, that's a good card.
Sealed, but I'm saying you're going to your Archon. Is anybody going, yep, that's a card that's going to win me the game?
No.
Everybody's looking for Infarnus, Rock Rub, stuff like that. Untamed can have some crazy burst. I just got one that it's got a ton of creatures in it. Double Flaxia, double Mustic, double Imprinted. And then it's got, what is it? Say, the one that everybody reaps for Song of the Wild.
Song of the Wild.
Yeah, everybody reaps for an additional 1. Which, I mean, if that card comes out at the wrong time.
Great sets. I'm just saying, when you talk about sealed, you're going to see
sealed is amazing.
Druids.
Like
Ramblings.
Untamed Sealed. You can keep going with those little cards. The
Yeah.
the heavy hitters are like Unnatural Selection,
Yeah.
Mustic Murmook.
I mean, Nature's
Impermanent
Call
Murmook.
is still a card that's kind
Nature's
of
Call.
brutal.
Key
Like
charge.
I was just opening the top 8 decks or the top 11 decks, and those are the cards that this thing has. Like double Unnatural Selection, single Unnatural Selection, Nature's Call, Pampaka Anga. There's really good stuff for Sealed.
People do get, I mean, especially I guess in Sealed where you're not looking at your opponent's deck. You know, you got to kind of, I guess, I mean, somebody piles up a bunch of Ember. I mean, how many pictures have we seen on Facebook where it's like, oh, hey, check out my, who's it, Stenopius, who gets +3 power for, yeah. Look at my 198 power to Stenopius. That's cute. Nature's Call. Like, you know, and that's it. That's after that, it's got to be GG's until he busts out the too much to protect or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure there could be a number of humorous things that would happen after that point. But I mean, that's a thing that's happened. I mean,
and those cards are cards that you sort of need. Like you need board clears, you need, things that make you go fast, and a lot of houses don't have that in Worlds Collide. A lot of sealed stuff.
I mean, Unnatural Selection is probably the second best board wipe in Worlds Collide.
It is extremely good. Yeah, especially in sealed when you can keep your opponent's crappy creatures.
Yeah,
second best. Yeah, probably.
I mean, because I think Axiom of Grisk probably the best.
Oh, I think Flux. I think Quintrino Flux is better than
Tertiate's pretty amazing too.
Tertiate is pretty amazing.
Tertiate's okay. I
love that one.
Tertiate's fantastic if you have Ward in your deck, but
so top
it's okay.
Give it top 3.
I would go Flux. Selection Axiom for me.
Okay, I mean, so Unnatural Selection doesn't make your top 3?
That was 2. That was number 2.
Oh, did you say Unnatural? Okay, oh, sorry, I didn't hear it. I mean, yeah. I would say at bare minimum top 3 in Worlds Collide, but there's not many, so I really don't know what to say on that one, because I think there's really only one other one. It's Coward's End, right? There's
no Coward's End.
There's no Coward's End in this set.
Mm-mm.
I thought there was.
There's the Harbinger Doom. There's Strange Gizmo. Good of the Mini.
Volcano.
Yeah, that's a card that exists.
It does exist.
It exists.
In the right scenario, Red Alert.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd really classify that as a board clear. Only because of the whole you're in deep shit if you're playing Red Alert.
Well, that's the thing.
Clear.
All of the board, that's the biggest thing in Worlds Collide. All of them are conditional,
right?
There is no card that says destroy all creatures and nothing else.
Well, Key to Dis is still around, isn't it?
Yes, Key to Dis is.
Oh yeah,
I forgot Key to Dis.
Key to Dis is the best, probably.
I literally never see that card.
The only reason I know is because I'm pretty sure I just pulled a deck with one.
There's just certain cards in this game I consider rare, and that's one of them.
They short printed that card. No, for sure, dude. I ran across a deck, a card in a Coda deck that I'd never seen before the other day. I'm like, I don't even know what that does. And it was a rare discard. And I'm like, I legitimately have never seen this card before and had no idea it existed.
One of the guys that steals when you play on your left flank or something?
No, it was an action card, I think.
I think I have 600 Worlds Collide decks. I've only seen one of those guys.
I've never seen one.
Steal one when your opponent plays somebody on the left flank?
Yeah.
Or the right. There's another one that does the right.
Oh, is there one that does the right?
I think I have the one on the left, Sinestro, whatever.
I have no idea, but yeah, I was shocked when I'm like, I've been doing Keyforge for, since it came out, and I do a show and a YouTube video and a Twitch channel. Swear to God, I've never seen this card, ever. And I only have one deck with it.
What was the card?
I don't remember now. Oh. It literally was it's not very good. Never mind. Moving on. It was a rare discard. From Coda, but it was just garbage. You would never really honestly play with it, I don't think.
Is it the altar? That one's garbage.
I don't think it was the altar.
But at least
I'll
that one's
find it
cool.
and report back to you next week. Because it was just a card where it just blew my mind. I was like, what? And like I said, I bought 5 boxes of Coda, and I only have 1 deck with it. So there's another one of those like super rare cards that you just don't see. But boys, it's about time to get out of here. It's been a pleasure as always. Anything left to go through before we scootaloo?
I do know, like, I'm not huge in stats. The you have the decks up still, Grant? Like the winning deck had 27 creatures
for Fort Worth.
Albany. No, Fort Worth. Yeah, Fort Worth.
Yeah, I have it here. Let me look at decks of Keyforge.
I'm pretty sure it had 27 creatures.
It has 27. Yep.
So this is the important takeaway that I noticed. I'm a top table with a slightly above average deck in Philly sealed with a 26 creature deck. Top table and winner of the Dallas Fort Worth sealed 27 creatures.
Second place 21.
Second place 21. Like, this is what I said earlier about like the big boards going to be starting to push the Coda stuff out. It's because of this. It's not that like old Coda, I don't care what the creatures are, you're not winning anything with a 26 creature deck. Like, you could probably handcraft pick them and it wouldn't matter. You're not going to win that event. Unless it's like all time traveler or something. I don't know. But like that's the biggest thing that I'm seeing. Like, you can show up with a 25, 26, 27 creature deck and consistently win your games, because even if they do have board wipes, every creature that hits the board almost is actually doing something. And that is, I think that's a really good thing for the future, because like playing creatures used to suck in this game. It's like, okay, I'm going to call a turn. I'm going to play 4 creatures. I effectively did nothing this turn. Your turn. And then those creatures literally wouldn't matter until you called that house again, which that's not the case. And we're seeing that because those decks are playing great creatures that do something and they're winning games. So
I found the card I was looking for. That you guys
What'd you find, Wookie?
It's Dance of Doom.
That's a great card.
That's a very good card.
I've never played against it. Swear to God. I've never had this card played against me, and I've never played a deck with it.
That's like Flux level good. Like, that's a really good card.
Select a creature just to kill. It's amazing.
Well, it's choose a number, destroy each creature with the power equal to that number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty good. But either way, I've never... How many decks you got with it?
I don't know.
2?
A few of them.
Do you really? Yeah. I would say... I have one deck.
It's very versatile, which is why.
I have one deck with it, and it's a rare, and I was just like, it's a card that exists.
Yeah.
Who knew? But, Grant, what do you got for us kind of coming out?
Just Crucible Tracker stuff. Continuing to work on that. Just redid the homepage for the site, just for fun. Other than that, I don't know. Whatever else I decide to do on the Crucible Tracker.
All right, Crucible Tracker, guys, go download it from your Google Play, not Google Play, from your Google extensions for your browser.
Yeah, browser extensions, Google Chrome store, whatever they call it.
And go get the Crucible add-ons too. I love it. If you're a streamer, and you're not using Crucible add-ons, like, you're really just, number one, it makes the board very presentable. Especially when you're streaming. Number 2, I think it gives you like the best look. Like, people can actually see the cards that you're playing for the most part. It makes everything kind of super uniform, super nice. Just go get it. I think it's the greatest thing for streaming.
And for the people who play, it moves the prompt to the left side of the screen. I can't imagine all you people moving the mouse all the way to the right every turn.
That drives me nuts.
That's a lot of work, man, to play a game.
That's a lot of wrist action. You don't want to be putting that much.
Gonna give you carpal tunnel.
You don't want to break a sweat playing Keyforge, that's for sure. But that's all we got. Again, guys, go check out the Discord. You can find it in the links down below. We have both the Reversal and Adeptive Tournament signups going now. Go check out our boys, Big J and Jupiter, on Thursday nights. I will probably be on Saturday. And then, Grant, you'll be with Mr. Eric this Sunday, right?
Most likely, yeah.
Most likely. And then we'll see kind of going throughout the week as to what I do. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, all those fun places. Vaughn is making some very nice, if you haven't seen them already, and it might be too late by the time you listen to this, but some awesome Valentines, Keyforge Valentines, that I'm totally going to steal and use.
Yeah, grab a picture, send it to someone you like. Whether they like Keyforge or not, maybe they'll join the game.
Some of those are some awesome. Like, I'm like, why is this not on a T-shirt already?
She's having fun with it.
Yeah,
she has some good stuff going on.
Yeah, there was some awesome ones on there. And go check out the latest video, which was the Prime out in Gray's Lake. I had a blast out there. The guys at the Gifted Games were really awesome. Really helped us out, and hopefully this week we'll have another one going for you, which will be the end of the One Deck Challenge. And not only that, it will be it'll be the Prime in Madison, Wisconsin. So had a ton of fun with that. You can watch Dan stomp me. How did Dan do anyways? I didn't talk to him. He got home and he said he was sick, so I didn't
he said he had the flu or something. Dan pulled a pretty good deck. He went 4-2. He lost when he was 4-1 to get knocked out.
The worst
he was
time
knocked out by the, I want to say the second place. Yeah, second place.
Oh, okay. So I mean, at least you have something. Be like, hey, I got knocked out by the second place deck.
Oh, we didn't mention it. The top two, the winner and second place, were both from Texas. One was one of my locals, the one that came in second, and then the winner was actually from Dallas.
Nice.
That was cool.
That's kind of I guess not a first, but kind of an interesting thing, 1 and 2 both being from the area. So we're going to get out of here, guys. Take it easy.
Everybody else lives their life so carefree. Yeah, I blame it on the world, but now it might just be me. I said it might just be me. I've been going crazy, and it might just be me. I've been feeling down, and now it might just be me. What the fuck is wrong with me? It might just be me. It might just be me. I take a look around, and now it might just be me. It might just be me. You look around, and now it might just be me. I've been going crazy, and I've been feeling down. What the fuck is wrong with me? My time is running out. Everybody else lives their life so carefree. I blame it on the world, but now it might just be me. Yeah, it might just be me. I've been going crazy.